It just feels so overwhelming right now. Yes, and that's the way it's supposed to be. There's no way around it. A conversation between me and my daughter regarding her starting for the first time in a Finnish-speaking school after so many years of speaking English only and going to international schools. If it was easy, anybody could do it. And if everyone had it, it would have no value. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erkka Suvanto. Some of you call me EJ. I'm here in social media, building a legacy for my own kids and passing on all life and business lessons to each and every one of you. I have built 3 companies up to 5 million level all by myself, and now talking about those lessons so that you don't need to make the same mistakes I did. The conversation I just referred to is one of those normal conversations between kids and their parents about the daily struggles, about the adversity and challenges that we all face. And us adults, we are no different. If the kids feel overwhelmed about starting in a new school or facing their challenges, we are the same way. This is also what I told my daughter. Everybody's clueless. If you think that your 48-year-old dad or your grandparents have it figured out, everybody's clueless. The difference between winners and losers is that the winners take action. They're equally clueless. And sometimes the entrepreneurs who get a lot done actually are more clueless than the rest of us because they have the ability to keep their brain uncluttered, that they don't have too many distracting thoughts going on at the same time. But overall, if we go back to the topic of pain and adversity and how to learn how to overcome that and actually how to enjoy pain, because I believe firmly that's the only recipe for success going forward. Overall, people struggle with the concept that something can be both painful and empowering at the same time. We seem to think that if it hurts, it must be bad for us. Taking full accountability for life with all the shortcomings can be extremely frightening, but at the same time, it's a very relieving process for us. Why is it that many of us don't ever do it? My personal theory is that it's our built-in protection mechanism. If we feel that we don't have the capability to handle those painful experiences and traumas from the past, then we deflect and push these topics to somebody else. But my process for taking full responsibility is actually very simple, and there are 2 steps. Step number 1 is admitting that it's my fault. And at the same time, what that means is that my responsibility. Since it's my responsibility, I'm also in control. And most importantly, I can take action. And since I'm in control, everything is my responsibility. Yes, it was my fault, but then at the end of the day, I can take action. And I can change the outcome. I have an influence. I can have an impact on the outcome. These are extremely important. Connecting short-term pain with long-term progress is basically the ultimate outcome of these 2 steps. But people struggle with the idea that something can be both extremely empowering and painful at the same time, because we seem to think that it has to be easy and comfortable. But all the learnings, everything rewarding, all the great results are on the other side of that comfort zone. So that's why understanding that pain is actually a blessing, because without pain, we don't get the long-term progress. We're not talking about physical pain. This is mostly mental. If we are starting as an entrepreneur, we have to overcome a lot of adversity. We get punched in the mouth daily. The ones who can get up tomorrow morning, all excited, ready to do it all over again, are the ones who end up succeeding at the end of the day. It's my fault, ultimately, which means it's my responsibility. I'm in control, I can take action, and I can influence the outcome. And this is all called accountability. Accountability is not the same as beating myself up. It has nothing to do with that. Accountability to some people might seem like a negative word, but it's actually extremely positive. Because when we accept the fact that we're accountable, we can influence the things. We are in control. It's not about beating myself up. We all make mistakes, but since I know that I'm in control, I can ultimately have an impact on the outcome. If people think that this is easy for me, that's not true at all. For so many years, I actually thought, real talk, honestly, that problems and adversity don't apply to me. Why? Because one, I work hard, and two, I always have the big picture in mind. I can see around the corner. I can avoid all the trouble and all the potholes in the road until things started going south. And that was probably 7 or 8 years ago when I started having my first real issues when it comes to business and my personal life all at the same time. Then it's quiet, and then the storm hits, and it's all of a sudden all your topics on the table again, your personal, your business, and so on. So that's what happened to me as well. And it took me a lot of personal effort and development to actually master this. And now I believe honestly that I'm actually pretty good with this. And what I have done personally to understand short-term pain with long-term progress is basically this. I can always ask myself, let's play it out. What's the worst case scenario? What's the worst thing that can happen if this idea that I have in my head materializes? And as long as I'm fine with that, nobody dies, the kids didn't get sick, I can honestly tell myself that, look, it's actually not that bad. It was just the idea that kept growing and growing in my own mind. So that's one. Number two, I learned how to disconnect present from past and future. And that has been huge for me. So I'm so much happier now when I don't worry about the future or dwell on the past. So I can focus on the present moment. And number three, I honestly nowadays believe that everything at the end of the day turns to epic stories. The question is when. If the scar is really deep, it might take years. But if it's more of a 50-50 type of a case, that, yeah, okay, whatever, not that bad. It could be a day, or it could be a week, or it could be a month until I can laugh about it. So at the end of the day, we are here on this planet to test how good we truly are and collect those epic stories. And that's, I believe, what our number one mission is. To see how good we truly are, to push the limits, go flat out until something breaks, then fix it, and again go flat out until something else breaks. That's, to me, what life is all about nowadays. It's a game. And I get to test how good I truly am. So those are the things that have helped me personally a lot to accept that there's going to be plenty of short-term pain. Because now I'm humble and I understand that the problems will impact me too. They will come, they will hit me like any other person on the planet. So let's summarize. Let's play it out. I play out the scenarios in my head, and as long as I'm comfortable with the outcome, I have no issue. I realize that the idea was a lot bigger than the actual topic itself. Number two, past, present, and future. And disconnecting the three from each other and focusing on the present moment. This has been huge for me, probably one of the most impactful topics. And number three, everything turns into epic stories and at the end. The question is only when. If the scar is really deep, it's going to take longer, but at some point I'm going to laugh about it. So these three have helped me a lot and have made a huge difference in my life, understanding that short-term pain is coupled with long-term progress. So I better know how to deal with that pain because it's going to enable that progress and those achievements that I want down the road. And how do we even know if something is good or bad in our life? Here's another thing that has opened really my eyes. I have lately started to understand that whether something is good or bad has everything to do with the time horizon. If we extend the time horizon long enough until the foreseeable future, we can't really conclude if anything that happens today is good or bad. Because everything can be seen in a very, very long time perspective. What about me breaking my leg or something bad happening to me here while I'm in Spain? I lose my wallet and I lose all my money. On day one, that seems like a terrible thing. But what about day 2, 3, and 4? I meet new people and all of a sudden I have a new business venture, or I meet somebody else who's going to teach me another story. All of that would not have been possible had I not lost my wallet. There's this famous story in Chinese Taoism about the farmer and his horse. Story goes like this. Dad gets boy a horse. Everybody in the village says, amazing. Dad says, let's see. Boy starts riding a horse, falls off the horse, hurts his arm. Everybody in the village says, oh, that's so terrible. Dad says, let's see. Army comes to the village, gets all the boys to go to the war. Kid can't go because he has a broken arm. Everybody in the village says, that's amazing. Dad says, let's see. The moral of the story and the lesson is that you don't really know until you play it out. If the time horizon is long enough, everything can be seen in so many different lights. And if you extend the time horizon long enough, your ultimate endpoint is obviously your own death. And then none of that matters anyhow anymore. So I think we are very quick as humans to judge whether something is good or bad based on today's feelings. Another example of how we let our feelings control and dictate what kind of actions we take. This goes very deep philosophically, but I think the story is extremely interesting. And this has personally helped me a lot. If I look at some of my shortcomings, look at some of the epic stories that have happened to me, some of the things that felt terrible on day one, down the road, what I just said about it's only a matter of time when I can laugh about those things is so true. It applies to me, and I think it applies to everybody else as well. So it's all about the perspective. But understanding whether we are running a business, applying for a job, being kids starting high school in new language, or whatever the challenge is, we need to learn how to deal with that short-term pain and adversity, and understanding that it's only through difficulty that we get to grow and reach our ultimate goals, whatever those goals might be. It depends on the individual. So a little different topic today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If so, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. I would highly appreciate that. Thanks for watching, and until next time.